Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever today finds you. I'm Paul Tranny with the one and only Brad Basham. How am I saying? Am I saying that right?
Basham.
Basham. I'm way off. Basham. I have one job. Say his name right. Welcome. First time here. How you feeling?
First time here. Good.
Good so far. You seem pretty relaxed. You got this chill. Kind of lean and be like, yeah, let's do this.
Let's.
But this is going to be really fun. We get to talk about Photoshop. We get to make some cool things.
Looking forward to it.
Right? Yeah. This is awesome. So, by the way, we have you today, tomorrow, and Thursday. We kind of click through that schedule really fast so everybody knows what's happening. Brianne and Ray and Jason. But all this week on Adobe Live. Kicked off the day with UI UX design with Meg Werlin, who just stepped off about 30 minutes ago. Voodoo Val kicked off the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge for the day, and now we're going to do some fancy, fun, creative imaging. We've kind of already talked about what you're going to cover, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. So this is super exciting. We have you for 2 hours today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and it's going to be fun. So I want to welcome everybody, Ben and Dune. Oh, look who's here, Sasha. Sasha Vinogradova.
Oh, I know that person.
Oh, yes, we know you. So, Sasha, hello. We were talking about you earlier. Nothing but good things to say. Gotta love her,
there
right?
There are nothing but good things to say about Sasha.
How do you know her?
We worked together.
You worked together.
For 2 or 3 years or something. I was working at And Company when she came over from Russia.
From Russia. You were there, right, when she sort of, landed in LA, her first job in LA after being in Russia. So, she's amazing now.
One of the most talented people I've worked with.
Yeah. Oh man, that must be nice. Just rub off on me. Like I want to know everything you know, like all the good things. So, but you can't help but be in a cool environment. And I know your portfolio is super impressive as well, by the way. I know you can only show so much, but if I can brag about you for a little bit, you can always jump to his Behance, but we switch to my screen. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You work in LA?
I do. I work at an agency called Canyon Design Group. We do mostly entertainment design, which is kind of what you're looking at now.
I love it.
I'm a bit of a dinosaur, and that most of what I do is print. One day that'll probably change, but
yeah. Well, it all kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it all starts in print, or at least with the style frame or the one like hero image. Doesn't it usually kind of start that way? So you're kind of at the inception of the idea for
build
the
a campaign
show.
around that. Usually.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's my experience. Is it kind of starts in print and then kind of trickles down to web and everything else. Yeah. How is it, man? Is it fun working in the entertainment industry?
It is. I love the variety that I get to work on, variety of projects that I get to work on. One day I'll be doing an illustration, the next kind of painting in Photoshop. It's a lot of piecing together of images, but it's also a lot of time concepting, looking through scrap and I feel like different industries have different words for scrap. That's what we call just stuff on the internet that we find for inspiration.
You call it scrap?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
What do you call
just
it?
Scrap. I don't know. I call it Pinterest.
Yeah,
that's where I'll go for some ideas, and of course Behance. But it's a fine line of finding things that are really cool out there. You just get depressed. You're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm gonna steal this idea. No, I don't know.
That's the way it works.
But you do. You bookmark ideas. You're like, okay, I want to save this. I want to save this. I want to save this. Sasha did this when she was here as well. She saved out all these ideas, like different things, and she's like, okay, now I want to create something new, but this is kind of the look I'm going for. Right. Is that how you typically kind of start?
Yeah. I mean, the ideas often come from a piece of like beautiful scrap, but sometimes it comes from something that's really ugly that just sparks an idea. It might be that I'm looking at someone's Instagram feed and there's, I don't know, a picture of the puddle in it. And I'm like, oh, I want to do something with a puddle.
Okay.
I don't know what puddle was the first thing I thought of, but
Maybe Brianne says it's like scrap as in scrapbook, maybe. And it sounds like Kathleen, the team here, I assume at Adobe that she works in, calls it scrap as well.
Okay.
I wonder if
I don't
anybody
know if it
else
comes from
has that.
scrapbook or we've got a lot of, jargon.
Yeah, I'm into it. And you got a lot of cool work. And again, a lot of Photoshop work. When you do this stuff, are you also working on the type as well?
Hi, Jason.
Do you know Jason?
I know Jason. Yeah, I do. For most of these projects, I've done everything that you see. it's a pretty fast-paced industry, so I don't get a chance to like, spend hours or days on a type treatment or something.
But I mean, you
Typical
clearly
pace should be doing 2 of these that you're looking at a day.
you'd be doing 2, like concept. What do you call it?
Concept to completion, I guess. Comps is what we call this sort of
Comps,
finished product. Well, not the finished product. The thing that goes to the client for rounds 1 through the end, and then.
So in a case like this, real fast, and then we'll focus on your project. By the way, you have the Creative Challenge going on right now. You can check the challenge tab for that. But in this case, you would maybe try to find that photo out there, and then in some cases, would you have to set up a photo shoot or
yeah? So
right?
All the Barbie stuff that you're looking at was done with a photo shoot, but like this one, Barbies don't bend that way, so had to. Use some puppet warp and all kinds of things to make that happen.
Oh, awesome. Maybe we'll learn about puppet warp from you.
I think that hand was stock. It's a combination, illustration, painting, all kinds of stuff.
Do you know Patrick Clare at all?
I don't think so.
So Jason, just so you know what's going on, currently we're just reviewing Brad's portfolio, but he's going to dive into his design. So I say enough bragging about you. I can brag about you all day long. I say we get started, because what is the plan today, actually?
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead. We'll switch to your screen.
Okay. Well, let's see. This little PDF I have has sort of little ideas for what I was going to do for each of these days, or at least some of the things that I might do. What you're looking at right now is for today. I did this thing for work a few weeks ago. I wish I could show it to you, but I can't, so I had to do a doodle instead. It was like a barrel that I had floating in the water, and like oil was leaking out of the bottom of it.
Oh, wow.
It was for some documentary movie. And I kind of liked it, and I liked the different things that I could have shown for, my process. With that.
And that's just something tough that you have to deal with working in the entertainment industry. The fact that you can't show some of the designs you made for X client, whether it's HBO or whoever else, right?
The process can sometimes take a year, and we're not allowed to show anything we do until, that project is out in the world. So if we're working on Game of Thrones or something.
So if you worked on Game of Thrones, even if they didn't say pick your idea, could you show your concepts maybe after a certain grace period or something? Or?
Usually we can after the print campaign has been released to the world.
Gotcha.
But there's still a little bit. I think it still belongs to HBO.
Okay.
So I got to be careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I liked this sort of thing that was half underwater, half above water. Did a couple doodles and started here, but I don't know.
I
kind of
like
got
it.
bored by it.
Did you? Okay.
And wanted to do something a little bit more surreal, and then I'll kind of take it from here, I guess.
So what is the basis about this? Is it like just sort of like underwater and then out of water, kind of a mix of those two things?
Yeah.
What's the setup for this? Is it we're still working on that, but are you making a movie poster or something like that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean.
Yeah, let's do it.
It looks
First of
like
all,
a
that
movie
sounds
poster.
very complex. It looks awesome. The whole idea of like splitting something and doing an underwater scene, and
right.
So again,
we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, we can get through it.
Come along with us on this adventure.
Mm-hmm. I guess I can show you. Let's see, where are they? I did a couple
Brianne's asking if this happened, if most of that stuff's contract type stuff in terms of showing it or not showing it, and who owns it is typically in the contract, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes who owns it is not in the contract. Sometimes there's an issue of whether they actually own the files that you made, and if you can turn over all your source files. That's a questionable area, I find.
Right.
Because they could.
There's 2 layers for me, because the agency owns it, kind of, or a lot of my work, and then above that is the client.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it all belongs to HBO at the end of the day. But
Yeah, so they could ask for all the PSDs. Like, that's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to get a call from 5 years ago when I worked with a client. And they're like, hey, can we have those PSDs for that project you did for us? I'm like, dude.
Yeah, tells me.
Yeah, why you got to do that to me?
Yeah. So these were the sort of like rough things then that I mocked up, and I just they kind of evolved. So yeah, right. We're done here, guys.
Oh, that's cool though. But I like how you did that. So initially you're thinking water on the bottom, and you're like, that's
this is kind of where I started.
Okay.
And it just felt a little bit too like, I don't know, why is a woman running in water?
Yeah.
So then I went a little more surreal, but then it was still a little bit more like about an athlete. So I started kind of doing this with this guy that is looking at a fish, and this is the direction.
That's kind of fascinating too.
Yeah, I went back and forth a little bit, but this is the direction that I'm going to go in. Except I think I'll do kind of a combination of these two. With the guy, and then
I'm into it.
And I think I'll probably put it in the city.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's just go ahead and put. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's put that city underwater. So what did we do? We schedule a photo shoot. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We build a city on the vertical, and then you flood it with water, and then you take the photo.
In a perfect world.
And then you rotate it in Photoshop. That's the only thing you have to do. You go into Photoshop and you rotate the image.
It's that simple.
But I will say, like, I'm sure you take from like real life or from real photos whenever you can, right?
Whenever we can, yeah. But
in terms of like making, as opposed to manipulating or making something, your best bet is actually finding the closest possible photo.
Right.
Possible.
That is ideal. There's a whole mix of ways that it can go down. But you'd be surprised at how much of it's kind of thrown together, not done on camera. Anyway, so I went through the Adobe stock library and looked for a couple of pictures I liked that I thought I could piece together to kind of match that thumbnail that I showed you.
Nice.
So I couldn't find one that was quite right, that was full body. So I'm going to use this torso and these legs.
Oh, okay.
Kind of perfect example of what we were just talking about. Yeah,
that totally works. Yeah.
This is I love it when an image looks like this because you can mask it real quick.
Oh, yeah. But it's always interesting to see how people mask it because I think everybody does it like a little slightly different way.
Yeah.
Like how would you cut him out?
This is a perfect image to channel mask.
Okay.
I guess I wanted to say that I am addicted to shortcuts, so you might have to like stop me and make me explain myself a couple times. But I also kind of want to show people a few of these shortcuts. Anyway, so I have, I like to cycle through
You're toggling through them right now.
I'm toggling through the channels right now. So that's the same as going over here to
Did you
channels.
make those?
No.
You make? Oh, they're built in.
They're built in. So every image, if you go up to Window, Channels, you get there. And when you're working in RGB, every image has a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. And if it's CMYK, you have cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So I have a shortcut to duplicate a channel, but that is up here, duplicate channel. Okay, and now I can edit this one without affecting my image.
Mm-hmm.
I chose that one because it has the sort of most contrast with the background.
Yeah, exactly. His face is a little darker.
So I'm going to adjust the levels, and I can get it basically all the way down without any of the background because it's pure white background, which is great.
So hopefully everybody saw that. Again, just kind of using the channel, the one that has the most contrast, and then you just use levels to really make an extreme sort of black. You're going for straight up black and white there, huh?
That's right.
And now you can just paint on it. And by the way, you're painting on this channel, so you're not destroying the initial image at all.
Right. We're not touching the image. It's kind of like working on a layer, but not quite. So if I invert this now, and then I make a selection out of it, which I can do by holding down Command on a Mac and clicking the channel, makes a selection out of it, and then I click mask, and we're sort of done.
I would have tried selecting color range. I don't know if you've ever done that.
To take the white out?
Yeah.
Yeah, for this image, that probably would have worked just as well, except I might have gotten...
You would have. And then you have to go through and you have to use your selection tools to clean it up. And it seems kind of easier just to paint out with black wherever it's white, but you don't want it to be transparent.
Okay, so this is both a shortcut and a script that I use every time I open a file. And I'm hoping this is helpful and not boring for you guys. But if you go to, so I have this script here, and if I click this, what it does is it puts the name of that file makes it the layer name.
Ooh, that's a shortcut, huh?
It's a shortcut, yeah. Makes life a lot easier. We have, we'll be going through libraries of images that have 1,000 images, well, maybe not 1,000, but 100 images that look pretty similar to this one, and later when we need to go back in and res the file up, you want to grab the original image. If you have to do a side-by-side comparison, it can be a pain in the ass.
Can you go to that again? That's just a script you've downloaded off.
Yeah, so I actually was going to walk you guys through this real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I set up bradbasham.com/
Hello, Stanley.
Adobe Live. So if you guys go to my website / Adobe Live and click this thing, you can download this script. I'll try and do it pretty quickly.
A layer name script.
Yeah. So you go to your applications, Photoshop, presets, scripts, and then if you just, I already have it here, right there. But if you just drag this thing and drop it in there, you'll have to then restart Photoshop. You go to the top, and it should show up here in your scripts. And if you just click that, it will name
any layer to
document name.
It should technically say the reverse of that, don't you think?
It should say the reverse of that. In fact, I think I labeled the reverse of that on my file name to layer name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that first time it takes much more time. It's less efficient. But then I set up an action, and now all I have to do every time I open a file is press F1.
Boom.
And it makes the layer name. The file
That's
name.
so
the layer
true
name.
because I will start out with, and again, I'll pull from Adobe Stock a lot, but that's the start of my composition, which is going to be named something different, but I want to have the original name of that source. So good call.
Yeah.
Priya got the script. We got free stuff. Good to have you here. Oliver? Or Olivier? I don't know how you say that.
Now I'm taking off his legs.
Just chopping off his legs like it's no big deal. Oh, so you're using the magnetic lasso?
Yeah, not a lot of people use this.
I know.
It's a bit of a headache sometimes, but
that's kind of what I want. Like this is what we need to talk more about this.
All right. I mean, talk more about it now.
I'm into it. No, what I end up using is the quick selection tool, which does recognize the pixels, but it's not going to be exact as this pen.
Right.
Can you switch? There's probably a shortcut to switch between the magnetic and the regular pen.
Yeah, kind of.
Or is it? It's magnetic pen. Is it pen or lasso? Oh, it's a lasso. Yeah, magnetic lasso.
Yeah. So there's a few shortcuts. First of all, if you make a mistake, you can just hit the delete button a bunch of times, and it takes away the points and goes back. So, and then if you hold Option, it doesn't change anything until you click. But after you're holding Option, once you click once, then you have the polygon lasso.
Okay.
Keep holding Option does that.
Yep.
If you hold Option, click and drag, and then it's back.
Okay.
So
it's kind of like
you can kind of get through all three. When you're on the magnetic, and
it feels like I said pen tool because it kind of feels like it almost like looks like the pen tool, but essentially you're creating that selection, so it's just making a.
It's finicky. Yeah. Sometimes it's amazing how often it closes accidentally on me, and then I end up with a shape that does that.
And then you gotta undo that a couple times, and
but there's plenty of times where I find it super useful. So
yes.
I'm gonna just tweak this layer mask just a
Go,
little
if
bit.
you don't mind, go full screen with Photoshop, or
That's
make
a
it
good
larger. You want to see it in all its glory. Thank you, Kathleen, for the tip. So you're just holding on the Option key, right, to toggle? Is that what you're holding out for the selections?
Yeah. It's all Option on a Mac.
Yeah. Nice.
And then delete.
I'm gonna start using that because I mean, most tools need to be like pixel aware. It needs to kind of be aware of the shape, and that's essentially what's happening here. It's like aware of the shape and then outlining it accordingly.
I very often use a brush. I mean, I'm sure in the next 3 days we'll see most of the ways that I mask, but.
And now you were in Select and Mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of do some cleanup. What did you have to clean up? It looks actually pretty good.
It does now. I think that.
Oh, you totally did. Did you like shift the edge or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Love it.
The hair is still not very good, so I'll clean that up.
And it almost it might also depend on, like, you probably need to clean up the hair. You're doing so many shortcuts, by the way. What was that other shortcut? Because I always forget it. When you show the red, you're showing the size of the brush. When it's red, you're holding down.
When you're in the brush tool, in a Mac, it's Control and Option.
Control Option.
I don't know what it is on PC.
Maybe Command Option. And then what you do is you drag, and if you drag up and down, that's going to do the the feathering, and then left and right will adjust the size.
Whoa, what's going on here?
I like that.
My computer seems to think that Shift is.
Oh yeah, actually, good call.
Does that happen to you?
What's that?
My computer thinks that I'm holding Shift and I'm not. See how it's selecting?
The only time that happens is when I have my mouse accidentally like turned on in my bag. I think you're good there. Do you need to just save this and restart it real fast?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because while you do that, I wanna show something as well. Let me just, because this is something that you may or may not be aware of. Let's try to find a cool image. See what it does with this one. Okay, we'll try this one actually. Okay, so if we could switch to my screen real fast.
This is more than a Adobe or Photoshop problem.
Oh shoot. Do you need to disconnect your, do you think it's your Wacom issue?
Not one that I've had before. All the buttons are disabled.
Oh, you can, if you want to restart, you can.
Let's try that.
That seems to.
Sorry, everybody.
No, you're good.
Happens
I get
to everybody.
show everybody something cool, anyways.
Cool.
Gives me an opportunity to. And while that's restarting, I want to show you this as well. And thank you so much, Ashi just mentioned it because yeah, she reminded me. So essentially, what if I wanted to select this guy? We could do this a number of ways. I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but one thing I've been doing lately that's just a quick. I just want to select the guy and let's see what happens. You can go up to select, down to select subject. It'll determine the subject and select it. I picked a hard image because I just don't know what's going to happen here. It'll do it on all other easy images. I get it, but let's push it. Select subject. Let's see what happens. Is it just going to get the guy or is it going to get the mountains too? Oh, interesting. It'll select the sharpest thing in the image. So since he has a little bit of haze around him, it selects the sharpness of this. Which can be good, can be bad. But essentially that's how it works. Like if I take these flowers, for instance, see how this is much sharper? I could do a couple different things when selecting this. I can use focus area. Focus area would actually grab this. Even if you have something that has different depths of like focus, it'll actually, you can control that and select more or less of the things around it, which is awesome. Select subject, of course, is go through, do the obvious. Hands-free mode.
Maybe this was the problem. Is trying to install a new driver right now.
Yeah.
Go away.
So you can see how it selected the subject here. We kind of clean it up from there.
Well, that's cool.
Which is, again, I only had to select one thing and it's a starting point. But I want to do focus area because I think focus area would work a little bit better here. Focus area, again, hands-free mode. Everything is set to auto. Okay, and then watch, I can drag this. As I drag it more this way, in focus range, let's increase the range. It should pick up more of this image right there, and it does kind of pick up the middle there. But you kind of see what it's doing, so you can kind of control that, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So
Shortcuts to start are awesome, and then you can always clean things up.
Yeah, and again, just like starting with something simple. Here's another thing that does that I love, by the way. Anytime you have these dialogues, because you did this as well, when you were in Select and Mask, you have these little, did you do new layer with layer mask? At the bottom?
What'd I do? Select and mask.
I don't know if you need to, but anyways, I love to have that
Output
option.
to layer mask?
Yeah, perfect. Output to layer mask, perfect. That's
Yeah.
what you want.
Uh-huh.
That's all. I just like that it eliminates a step because Photoshop's saying, oh, I know what you're trying to do. You're not only trying to select it, you're trying to cut it out. And that's essentially what you did here, which is perfect.
Huh.
So yeah,
Cool.
I like it.
I think we're back in business here. So I'm just going to try and clean up this edge a little bit. One thing,
Yeah, how are you doing this?
I don't know, I'm not happy with the way it's looking.
No. And by the way, it doesn't have to be perfect, but
yeah,
you're painting with.
So I did a retouching layer. I just call it RT, and linked it to the layer below it.
So clipping mask.
Clipped it to it, and then using the clone tool with current and below selected. So I'm on a blank layer, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so you're actually like, you're stamping the hair, more of the hair right up there. Okay, perfect.
One thing about the industry that I work in is we work sort of fast, and then have people that would go in and finish it if the client picks it. So I don't need to worry about the fact that this isn't perfect. As long as it's going to look good from this size, then
it doesn't have to
I'm
be
usually
perfect.
pretty happy.
I don't know, yeah, so again, just paying attention to the detail when you need to. If you guys saw a second ago, you saw fireworks. And what that means is it's time for Chat and Win. Let's dive into that right now. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for Chat and Win. So just say something in chat like, awesome, cool fireworks, nice hair. You remind me of House MD. Somebody said that earlier. I think you guys have your voice. You have this nice, deep voice, and I think it's very similar, minus the British accent. Well,
I wish I had a British accent.
I guess he doesn't have the British accent in the show, but he's British. That would be cool. Either way, say some intelligible words in chat. We will give you 100 stickers for free to our winner. We just need to make sure it's a person there, not a cat walking on a keyboard. So
it's a lot of stuff.
Complete words. Unless your cat can type, then you get 100. We should give you 100 stickers for that. So we'll pull a name at random here in a second and give them 100 free stickers. And our lucky winner is Robert Hopp. Congratulations, Robert. Cheers. I see you there, Robert. Congratulations, buddy. You get 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. As you can see, the fastest and easiest way to buy custom stickers. Yeah, just for fun. Guess what? Everybody can get, how many, is it 10 for $1 or something crazy? Something so cheap. Yeah, 10 stickers for $1 if you just use this URL. So even though if you didn't win, if you're not Rob, then you can use this URL and get 10 stickers for free. I want to know if anybody's has gotten stickers before and printed them up. Would be kind of fun to see, but that's it. All just to say thank you for hanging out with us. So there you go. This guy just kissing the air, just goofy guy kissing the air. Like, what are you doing, buddy? He's lonely.
All right, I'm gonna do these legs real quick, and then we're gonna piece it together.
Yeah, go at your own pace too, because I like, now that you explained everything, I just want to see you like, if we weren't here, like your normal pace.
Yeah.
Because I already see you using these like shortcuts, which is awesome. Congratulations, Jordan Crawford actually has got some stickers and love them.
Another thing I do
Very cool.
is to keep file sizes down and so on, try and take the part of the image that I'm going to use and remove everything else. So I'm going to hit Command J here, which duplicates the selection. Side note, something just popped up there. I think it was Command K. I think I learned all the shortcuts that I know accidentally, like almost working my way across the keyboard and
that's awesome.
hitting a key accidentally when I was trying to do one shortcut.
It's nice that like you really can't break. You're not gonna. Well, you can break pretty much anything, but you're not really. There's always undo.
There's always undo. Yeah.
So.
I highly recommend setting your history states to like 300 or something.
Yeah. Especially the way you move. I think you move pretty fast, so it's like you need lots of undo states.
Yeah, it's true. Fast and loose.
Do you, and then do you have your own shortcuts that you have built in?
I do. I have a list of a whole bunch of actions that I use.
We don't have to do it now, but it's some like as it comes into play, like let us know, because I'm always curious as a pro like you, what you.
Let's just do brush here.
Oh, Ashi, I'm sorry you didn't win stickers yet. Stick around, not to worry. We will give away stickers during each segment. And let's not forget about the giving design feedback for the challenge today. You can see that clock down there, 55 minutes. You can check the challenge tab.
So now I'm just using the brush tool for cleaning up this mask, kind of the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, into it. You pretty comfortable using the Wacom tablet, apparently?
Yeah, it was, there's a learning curve, but...
Yeah, how long? Did it take you a couple weeks, or...?
About that, yeah. But now I can't work without it. That's the only problem.
Interesting.
Once you get used to it, it's like, I almost feel stifled.
Huh.
I don't have it. But
I still use a mouse, and since I travel a lot, I've just gotten really used to using my trackpad.
Really?
Yeah, I'll use my little touchpad here, and like my mouse will be sitting here the whole time, and then I just end up using the little touchpad because it's whatever's easiest. Since I'm on a plane, I'm literally like, I was between two bigger guys today. I was like, I didn't even have I couldn't even do this. I was like this. I was drawing on the iPad.
I can't even think that way. I wish I could.
You'd have to bust this out. Like, excuse me, can I borrow your tray?
Yeah.
Can you pull that tray down? I'll be able to work over here.
Actually, that's what I did last night. I was on a mostly empty flight and took up
that's
two
what
seats
you
and
did?
had my tablets when I wrote.
Nice. See, that's cool. Otherwise, you'd have to like put it in your lap or something.
Yeah.
Which one is that, by the way? The Wacom. I guess it's like 15, 12 inch. 12
about
inch.
a year old. So I don't know whatever it was.
Intuos, Wacom Intuos Pro.
Recommend it.
Rodolfo's a little faster with the pen tool, kind of doing your outlining.
I tend to use the pen tool when I'm doing something sort of technical. If I was outlining a motorcycle or something for some reason.
A lot of straight edges and things.
Yeah.
I could see that. Vivian, thank you so much for asking. When does XD stream start? Not to worry. It will be happening tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Meg will be kicking that off, so that's what's happening then. Yeah, it's fun. So we kind of split up the days now. So we have, UX and UI for part of the day, and then we have Photoshop for part of the day with a challenge in between. So it's kind of fun to mix it up, and it's fun for everybody.
I have an action that fills a layer mask with black. That's what this is right here.
Fills.
So like I'll tend to like I want to make this shadow right here. So I just make an adjustment layer with a curve and darken it. And then I have a shortcut that deletes the layer mask first and then makes a new one. Not like that, like that. So if you hold Option when you click layer mask, it makes a black mask, which is kind of important. If I were to just leave the layer mask there and then fill it with black, when I move this layer around, you'll see the white edge. See the white edge, and sometimes that actually leaves like a pixel, a 1 pixel line around the whole image, and it'll end up in your final comp, and it's paint.
And especially since you work in print, you might not notice that till, who knows.
Exactly.
Until you get it printed out.
So if you instead do this thing that I just sort of showed you, where you hold Option down, then it makes a sort of black mask that when you move around is just black everywhere.
I love it.
And that's more important for images than it is for curves, but
Yeah, man, that's huge. I didn't even know, this may sound dumb, I didn't even know you could make a shortcut that would make a layer mask.
Yeah, you can, well, let's see, shortcut, I mean, it's an action.
You have to set up an action.
You have to set up an
That's
action.
right. You can't set up a shortcut. You have to set up an action.
Good. And
then you have obviously a shortcut for the action.
I have tons of actions.
Into it.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got this guy now. I think I want him bending over a little more. So I'm going to do a combination of, which I should have done maybe before I did this shadow, but we can do it together. Since they're, it's kind of useful that they're.
By the way, how
layers.
did you move that center?
Yeah. So if you hold Option when you're transforming, it moves the center around.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
you can scale from center or rotate around center.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting the center at where I think his hip joint
Option,
is.
click, boom.
And then bend over
Just
a little
really
bit
get
more.
in there. Just, yep, buddy.
Because I'm gonna want the water line to kind of be going right there. So I want him to be able to sort of his head to poke through. Yeah. But I'm gonna do a combo of things here. So now that that's done, I messed that up just a little bit. When I made a selection of the layer below, the legs, and now I'm using that to paint my layer mask of the jacket, so I can get rid of this little part here. Just kind of a quick thing.
Yep. And you just hold down, Option key click, you make that selection, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
command clicking on a layer mask selects the mask. You can command click on a layer too, and it selects the whole layer. On this one, I duplicated that, didn't realize it.
Oh, my bad, you're right. Command click. Do you find I see your fingers kind of dancing over that keyboard. It's hard to even verbalize kind of what you're doing. I feel like you having to verbalize this stuff slows you down.
Well, I'm also trying to find a balance of, this is kind of the boring part anyways, but, oops. But I'll try to talk you through more of it.
No, you're doing great. I love watching people just work fast. I like just the thought of us just kind of looking over your shoulder while you're at work and see you work on this stuff.
Right.
I just really like seeing that. So
I find that learning shortcuts has been important because it kind of frees up more time and energy to experiment and push things around and less to actually think about the doing of it.
And like you said, when we began, you'll sometimes knock out sort of 2 comps a day, for instance, right? So you have to move fast. You'll be lucky if you name layers, I feel. Because you could be like, I could throw away this design tomorrow.
It's true, but revisions also come fast and are needed quickly. So it's kind of looking out, for future.
I think I would put my money on you if there was ever a Photoshop speed contest for editing or something.
I call this guy Dude. And now, let's see, I didn't set up a template.
Ilias, can we get a GoPro and show his hands too? Yes, but neither one of us had a manicure, so I don't think we're gonna go that route.
This is something I might work on later. This was a super rough thing, but it's the only place I have a template handy, so I'm just duplicating it. Sorry, I have a shortcut that does duplicate. So image, duplicate, and then okay.
Duplicate, it just duplicates whatever layer you're on.
You can do that over here. That was just a file duplicate. So image duplicate does the whole file. So I'm gonna close this guy now.
Man, I swear, dude. I thought I knew everything about Photoshop. I've never duplicated a file.
Really?
I just never really
Yeah.
You know how I do it? the slow way. I'll copy the whole
Shift
image.
save or something?
I'll copy the whole image. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I would do a save as typically. But you're just doing a duplicate because you, for whatever reason, you need two,
so
two
I have,
open and.
I mean, in this case, I just wanted that template, so I just duplicated it and then deleted everything else. So now we've got, I don't need that right now.
Kind of remove the things you want. Okay, because you still want both files open. A save as, like, effectively kind of closes the other one.
So here's our dude. I like to check that my mask is pretty good by looking at it on black and white. And pretty good. I could do a little bit more of the layer mask adjust real quick here on the legs.
Sam Taylor, thanks for the comment. Matt Mayland, I don't know about this. This image reminds him of the work of Matt Mayland. Maitland, I don't know him.
This image? This guy, are you?
Yeah, I guess so. Which it has a very sort of Norman Rockwell feel to it. Because it's an exaggerated, it's a little bit exaggerated pose.
Yeah. We're gonna, I guess I'll do it here. So I'm gonna turn this into a smart object. Oh my God. Sometimes I'm a perfectionist and these little things just bug me. But, good enough. Okay, I'm gonna turn this into a smart object. And then I want to puppet warp this guy.
Love it. Love puppet warp.
I know, it's pretty sweet.
More points.
Keep those feet on the ground, keep the hips where they are. Keep the knees
It's good
where
to
they
like
are.
establish the points you don't want to move.
And then I think I got his torso low enough doing what I did before, but what I want now is to get his head looking up a little bit more.
So is this not fun, everyone?
I nerd out on Photoshop
This
sometimes
is awesome.
more than I should.
This is so cool. Does everybody do a couple moves there, just so everybody kind of gets an idea of like what's happening? Yeah, look at that. Again, we're just like bending pixels at our will. You feel like
kind of amazing.
God.
Yeah.
Like you could.
It'd be funny to make a GIF where he's like dancing.
You totally could. That's funny.
Yeah, anyway, so I think he's in a position that I like now. He's a smart object. Bring him into my template. And here we go. So I've got my guy. Now I want to start doing the background and the water.
Very cool. Oh, thank you so much. Rockio says he's learned more the past 30 minutes than he has the past 2 years.
That's cool. Thanks.
Sorry, we can't give you a 2-year degree or anything. Maybe we'll give out free credits for watching the whole stream. We should have Adobe Live credits. Everybody gets 2 Adobe Live credits for watching Brad today.
So here I'm hitting that action. I guess I could just show you guys. You can go window actions, and then you could do.
Let's take a look at these.
So one of the actions I use the most, just because I do it so often, it's a simple click anyways, but I do it so much that it just saves me time. So I have a selection. Let's say I've done my whatever around a person or something. And then if I want to make a layer mask, I'd have to go over here and open layers and click
Go
that,
down there.
There's barely anything, but over time it just like adds up. So instead, did I close that? No, there we go. Would go new action. Let's just do temp, but you can call it whatever you want. And then gives you function keys. So this is like the most common thing I do. So I had used F1. That's why it's not showing up anymore. But okay, record. And now it's as simple as hitting the layer mask button, and now going back to actions and hitting stop. And so my action is Command F4 called temp. So if I delete that layer mask real quick, make another selection differently. Now if I just hit Command F4, it's a layer mask. And then I would hit, so F1 is my action for using that script that I showed you guys earlier. So then I'd hit F1, and now I've got a layer that's labeled after the file name. It's got its layer mask.
Not gonna have that white halo edge or who knows what.
Yeah, when you make a layer mask from selection, it doesn't have that sort of white edge either.
Okay.
So I've got black all the way there.
That's very cool. Like you again, yeah. I thought it was fast. Like making a layer mask is quick, but you just made it like that much faster because you know how often you do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, saving us time.
It's what it's all about. It's too big. I've got an action for a curve, because that's another thing I do the most. So I just hit Command F1 on my computer, but all it does is open up the curve panel.
And now here's we're gonna try to match.
Yeah, or at least I'm gonna do it roughly for now.
Okay.
I've seen people do color adjustments a million ways, but I think 99% of what you need to do when it comes to color and light adjustment in a layer, you can do with curves. It's just a matter of practice. So, knowing the versatility of curves is insane. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm using shortcuts to get through the different colors here, RGB, and if I can do that, kind of anything can happen with regard to the adjustment of an image. With curves, and whatever.
Stop blowing my mind.
So we're gonna start over though.
Yes, lynda.com is great, or LinkedIn, whatever you want to call it.
I used my share of Lynda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little Deke McClelland. Do you know Deke? Oh, maybe he does more Illustrator. Deke McClelland does he does Photoshop, right?
Oh, I believe it, but I don't know him.
Deke McClelland. Yeah. Hassan's asking if you have a YouTube channel.
I don't.
He's like, dude, I'm too busy working. I got to churn out 2 comps a day, and you want me to start a YouTube channel?
If I had time.
Like,
that's about right. So this is another image that I got from Adobe Stock. I think I just searched underwater. And let's see.
I love it. I don't know how we found you, but I'm glad we found you.
Appreciate it.
Like in terms of, because again, you don't have a YouTube channel, and I can easily see, you have hours of content right here that we're looking at,
Something to consider. So this is another image that I wanted to use for the surface, just to not bore you guys. I already masked this one out, so I have some things in here. So I think this one I just used a brush tool. I just went through and painted that out, and made myself a layer mask that's that.
And now you do, yeah, there it is.
Here's another shortcut. If you hold Option and brackets, you can go up and down through your layers, which is sometimes very handy.
Nice. You just drag that layer to the tab, and now it's in that file. Bam and bam.
When you hit Command 0 and you're not in transform mode, it will fit the, so if I hit Command 0, it fits the window to my screen. But if I'm transforming and I hit Command 0, then it fits
it all, yeah.
Fits what I'm trying to transform.
Rotate it, Command 0. Zoop. Doa Hamdi, that's a good question. I think we'll get into that as we start to refine it, sort of like what makes a design feel real or like harmonious. Like we're not there yet, but like how do you make it look at as if it's all part of one scene is a whole subject matter we'll tackle. At least Brad will. I'll just sit here.
I'll do what I can. Okay. feel like I need him leaning over just a little bit more. So this is a cool thing about using smart objects. I can just go back in and tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, I love that it actually remembers the points.
Yeah. And I can shift click them and move 2 or so at a time.
And you can even rotate them.
Something happened to his feet here.
Do you know you can rotate the points?
I didn't know
So
that.
select that point.
This one?
Yeah.
So
So you could rotate it up at the top, but I'm sure there's one of these, option or command or one of those will allow you to rotate that point that you have selected, just so you know.
I messed up the feet here somehow, so let's get those back on the ground.
Sweet.
That's getting there. I think I'm ready pretty much to start trying to integrate all this a little bit more.
I know you might have him kissing a fish, but I kind of want him to be trying to kiss a big shark that has his mouth open.
We can play around at the end. Put any kind of
just like
animal in here you want. All right, let's see.
Amy Lynn asks if those will be available to rewatch. No. Just kidding, it is. I just want you to stay here with us live so you could ask us questions. But yes, it's going to be the replay tab. But wait till this weekend.
One thing, sort of like a best practices kind of thing. If we all have like layers that we don't use sometimes. And then we turn them off and then our file gets all messy.
Yeah.
I'd like to, when I can, have a layer mask that blocks that out. So it's still there and I can come back to it later. If I hold Option Command and the layer mask tool, it gives me that's a black vector mask, or like an all-out vector mask. The advantage to that is that when I have a complicated file, and I often want to look at a single layer. So I want to look at just this layer right now. And if I hold Option on it, now I'm looking at it. Holding Option, clicking on the eyeball tool shows you toggles between all that. But then if I want to adjust this now that I'm looking at just it, and I put a curve on it, I'll not use my shortcut to make my point. Now, because it's kind of reset what it thinks is on. And off, I can no longer like toggle all layers on or off. And if I had like a complicated sort of which layers are on, which are off.
What was on, what was off,
it can be a pain. So you have to like rebuild it or so now, because I put this layer mask on the layers that I'm not using, I can just control and show hide all the layers, do that twice, in theory. And now everything's back on, and this layer isn't like now suddenly, in my way. I don't know if that makes much sense with a file this simple.
Well, it's not. It's not showing up
useful.
now. If you turn it on, it's not showing up, or is it?
That's the point.
Yeah, perfect.
This is the layer that I don't want to show up.
Hopefully that makes sense. You have a complex file. You want to turn on all the layers, but some of the layers you just aren't even using, but you might use them later on.
Yeah.
So it's the fact of hiding content in that layer, even though it's turned on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I like it.
I played
and it
around
doesn't lose its position, because you could say, well, I'll just put it in a folder up here. No, it's going to lose its position because it's your alternate of this guy or something like that, you know? Cool, man.
So I played around with this file before I built it now a couple times, and I found that the best way to do this was a little bit surprising. But I'm going to actually, I think, pull a channel. So I'm cycling through the channels again. And I can make, so now I'm in the red one. I can make a selection by holding Command Option 1. And now I want to go back to RGB. That's Command tilde, or whatever that
Command
key is called.
the tilde.
Does that make sense?
You did Command Option 1 because you're selecting the red channel? What were you selecting?
Yes, exactly. So you can actually do any of them. I could do Command Option, is that tilde? Is that what that's called?
Tilde?
Tilde?
The little squiggly line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could do that or any of those. So, yeah.
That's fun.
I
you
like
kind of toggle through the different ones to see.
Yeah. Oh, I have legacy channels on because I started doing this before they switched it. But at some point they changed the channels to be like 3 through 6 or something.
Oh, they shifted
channels.
it down?
They shifted it. And command, yeah. So command ~1 and 2 do something different. So you can go into up here into window or something in shortcuts and change that if you want to. Use legacy shortcuts. That's what I prefer, but it's only because I got used to it first. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm gonna, with that selected, I'm gonna make a curve on my water layer here. That's going to make that city look like it's starting to show through.
Look at you, fancy pants.
Yeah.
Into it.
And maybe I can actually go a little bit too far because I can always brush it out later.
And you're... Okay, so do that, and then I want to take a look at the layers panel again.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
It feels like a little bit of a sloppy way to do it because then, there's different layer styles that I could have done. So I could be putting this on multiply, say, but I just wasn't as happy with what I was getting. The advantage to this is now if I move my background, it all moves together.
Yeah.
But having multiple layers on it means that if I move my background, that's not going to move. So that can be a pain, but I can also link them together.
But like basically adding that curves layer adds transparency to the... does that or
It does not add transparency. So what it's doing, this is the layer mask. So by...
Okay. The layer mask is just gray.
The layer mask is kind of the image. So like the white parts are what is allowed to affect.
Do you mind turning off everything below that, just so what if you turned off? Okay, so yeah, good. So just making sure we're not seeing anything.
No, right. So now we're just looking at this curve and the water layer,
But it's gray. It's like yeah. I see what's happening. Jordan Crawford, what is right? What? The curves, the city you see there is just varying grays that you've selected using the channels.
Right, exactly.
It's not the transparency, which is why you said if you move it, it's not linked to the background, it's not transparent, all that good stuff.
And I'm gonna do
that. That looks really good because you were getting a muddy. That's why the blend modes weren't working because it made it look muddy.
I was getting muddy.
And now you have that gray. Now you have different varying levels of blue, basically.
I also experimented with doing a gradient map. If you guys know what that is, there's different ways. There's in Photoshop, we all know there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. So I liked the way that this was looking the best.
It does. It doesn't look muddy. Looks pretty clean, and wow.
And I'm actually going to do the same with the
with the guy
with the shadows, I think. So again.
And you just had to play with this, right, to see which one worked, right?
I did, yeah. So a lot of the process is noodling with stuff, and I didn't want to bore you guys by doing that on camera. So I tried to figure some of this stuff out, how it was going to work best with this particular file before doing this. So now, since I want to get the shadows a little bit, I'm going to I don't know if this makes any sense, but I'm going to invert this. So here's my layer mask now. This is the channel that I grabbed from the background layer. If I invert it, now the parts of the image that were in shadow are what is being affected. So now I can, when I darken, it's darkening the shadows, and leaving the highlights alone, basically. And so I've got inverted, like different layer masks here that are doing opposite things.
Okay. But it really gives you a lot of control over how that light is interacting. And I would have to think that I would have to study a real photo of how something looks above water versus below water, and see how light gets treated on that object. If the darks do they get blacker? I mean, I don't more dark, but
yeah. I mean, depending upon the file, I'll study the way something. I should say, depending upon the project, I'll study the way something looks in real life, or just try to imagine it. And in this case, it's kind of a surreal, stylized little thing, anyways. But
still, you got to sell it.
Content.
And this is, I think this is selling it, man.
So, anyway, as I said, I can paint in bits. So I wouldn't want to, I've seen files that are kind of sloppy where they paint over, you know, let's say I don't need the highlights up here as much. I can paint those away, but now if I want to paint them back, it's
gone forever.
It's gone. So I will group things and then put another layer mask on it.
Again, you get 2 credits for watching this, multiple credits, because this is like senior level stuff. Because now what you've done is you have a layer mask on a group.
Yeah.
Which separates out that mask, so you can add
and I do
and
that
subtract.
all the time because it preserves. I like to work as non-destructively, I guess they call it, as possible. So I'm not messing with those layer masks. And now I can paint out. This one's the highlights, so I'm gonna call it highlights. How are we doing for time?
You are doing fantastic. About 25 minutes, we will just review some of the design entries that we have. We'll give some feedback. We'll do that in 25 minutes, so submit that, by the way, through the challenge tab. We'll review those in 25 minutes. Otherwise, yeah, you got easily 25 minutes plus more to kind of wrap up, so you're doing well.
Okay, so now, because I did the whole city when I did my channel grabs, these curves layers are actually affecting the whole image. I don't want that. I just want to be playing with the city here, or with the underwater part. We'll deal with the in-air part later. So you can make any adjustment layer affect only the images in that layer by putting, or in that group, by putting a group on normal. So it probably doesn't make any sense when I just say it, but
yeah, maybe it'll be clear like once you do it or something.
So
because I've never known what normal is.
Yeah, it's
I don't know what normal is.
It only shows up.
Does that make me weird?
Does it show up? Yeah, okay. So there's no transparency on this group right now. If you actually, most groups are default set to pass through, which is, nope, that's not what I want. I want this, pass through. So that means that every adjustment layer in that group still affects your entire image. And that's the way you would normally want it. You know, like later on, we'll have like a bunch of layers of adjustment layers that are affecting the whole file. And I'll group those together, and I want that on pass through so that they affect the entire image below it. But in this case, I want it on normal because that doesn't change the way this looks, but it prevents the adjustment layers from affecting everything below. Does that make sense?
It prevents the adjustment layers. It didn't deactivate anything. Or did it?
It didn't deactivate anything. So this group is unchanged. So I'm holding Option and clicking on this group to isolate it. And it hasn't changed at all when it's gone from normal to pass through. Nothing happened. But what's happening is so this layer is below it. And with it on pass through, the curves in this water group are still affecting this.
Okay.
This layer below.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, that's on pass through. The curves in the water group is affecting, and you don't. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you put it on normal, they no longer do that.
Okay. Huh. All right. Now I know.
Yeah. That may seem obscure, but it's actually super useful sometimes. Because why?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is that it works.
It works, but like,
Okay, so essentially, it keeps all of the layer blend modes local to that folder.
Yes.
When it's set to normal.
So let's say that,
Keep
like,
it local
for
to this
whatever
folder.
reason,
If it's set to pass through, it's going to pass through those folders to everything else.
Yes. It often is useful on images, or yeah, everything we're working with is an image. So
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, like an example is that double layer mask thing that I just showed. So I putting a layer mask or a curve on this guy. I do a come on. a mask, and for whatever reason, let's say it's the city that I grabbed or something, I don't want to paint over that again. I want to make that a group so that then I can...
Yeah.
It's kind of...
No, I totally do get it. Yeah, I mean,
so if I want to affect this layer without destroying this layer mask, I then can group it, put on a new layer mask on that, and do that. But this whole thing now is affecting my whole image. So if I were to group this together and put that on normal,
boom.
Now it's only
That's awesome.
affecting...
So no, I still like the example of like, or the explanation that normal will just keep it local to that folder and will not pass through, will affect everything below it.
Yeah, I mean
that's awesome. I never knew that.
It's surprisingly useful sometimes. Maybe we'll get to it.
Makes
later,
sense to me, man.
Okay.
It's new to Mel. Awesome. This is Pro Photoshop.
Okay. I think I want to bring these little highlight.
Do you know
rays
Jason
up.
Burnham?
I do. What do you
Come
say?
on, Jason. Are you razzing us? I worked with Brad for almost a decade. I think he made my Photoshop skills regress.
Thanks,
What are
Jason.
you talking about? Thanks for that, buddy. I thought you were a friend. No.
That was just a Jason's birthday this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Happy 40th birthday celebration, Jason.
Old
okay,
school.
what do I want to do next here? So I wanted to bring a few more of these rays out. So I'm going to do another channel grab, duplicate channel.
Yeah, you really do. Like, I don't really make that much use of channels, and I feel like I should
use them quite a bit. And I'm just trying to get some of these highlights to come out a bit more. Okay, make a selection based on that. Again, it's probably a menu thing, but I don't even know it. So I hold Command and click on the channel. And there we go. Getting there. I think I'm ready to affect this guy. So I've kind of got my city in a pretty good spot. Oh,
that's amazing.
Actually, I forgot about one step. I'm going to go to my Adobe stock folder here. Take this guy. So I want to get some of, I can close some of these windows. I want some of that like water texture to be on this road here because I'm imagining the light kind of coming in from the right and filtering through the surface of the water and hitting the road. So yeah. I want sort of this like, yeah, I'm gonna
a little bounce.
Yeah,
like
I don't even
hitting
know
these lines. Some of the just a spot in the road.
Yeah, you'll see. So let's do.
Like, just watch, Paul.
15.
Just calm down. Just watch me. You're gonna get it in a second. I will dumb it down for you. Not to worry, Paul.
Oops. When you change a canvas before you use my little layer name script, it adds white to that layer, you know, because it's still a background layer. I don't want that. So let's just go 15 by 26. Oops. I'm hitting Command Option I, which opens up image size, and I want to.
Do you want it at image size or canvas size?
You're right. Thank you. Command Option C is canvas size. Okay. So Option drag duplicates the layer. And I'm gonna flip that.
Oh yeah, like that's how you're making it seamless? Is that what you're doing?
Basically,
Kind of?
yeah. I mean, I don't want it to be quite as obvious that it reflects there, so I'm gonna put a layer mask on it.
Luckily, this is like such a good texture to, like.
Yeah,
I
right,
typically
exactly.
I think you'd have an issue.
Whatever. It's kind of, I don't love that, but you're not really gonna notice in the final file, so.
I see. So this is going to be the ground plane on the.
Yeah.
Look at you, fancy.
If you hold Command and select a layer, or click on a layer, it will, depending upon if you have this selected, auto select layer or group. I don't like that. I just hold Command and then I can click on any layer to select it. So I know that this is the one that's causing me problems right now. So I'm gonna Command click on that, put a layer mask on it,
Yep.
and do that.
Boom.
I'm gonna do the whole thing again over here.
I would. Yeah.
What?
I would put you against anybody, up against anybody in Photoshop, in terms of like speed. If we did Photoshop races, it'd be awesome. Cause
I'm a pretty slow designer, and I have to make up for that with
oh yeah.
with Photoshop tricks, I guess.
Well, that's
But
good because you're spending more time on the design,
yeah,
the aspect.
Yeah,
Like the design decisions are the harder ones as opposed to the technical stuff.
for me, anyways.
That's awesome.
I don't know. It's not really gonna matter, but it's all a little bit.
It's just gonna
cloney
bother
looking.
you.
It's just gonna bother me,
You're the only one that you're like, oh, that line.
but it's good enough. So I'm gonna call this water texture.
Yeah, Sasha was so sweet when she was here because I was like, Sasha, you are so good. And she's like, you don't understand. The people that I've worked with are so good that there's no way I have an ego about myself, is what she was saying. Which is kind of true, don't you think? You know, you work with some pretty.
I find it hard to have an ego in the creative world in general. I'm always kind of overwhelmed by the quality of people out there, but.
Yeah, that's what she was saying because I was like, I'm so impressed. She's like, you have no idea the people that I've worked with.
Right.
So, that aren't on YouTube or Insta. You're not even on social media really, or are you?
I mean, I have an Instagram account. I have the accounts, but I'm not very active.
Okay, gotcha.
Check
Because again, you're too busy working. I gotta work, and then I like.
Yeah.
Then I go do other things for fun.
So I'm bringing this texture
what
in
you're
now.
doing here. What did you? I know you. Are you doing a distort? This is a distort.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know which one to be classified as. So if you, let's start that over. If you hit Command T, I brought my layer over, Smart Object. You can control click on it, and it gives you these options: distort, warp, whatever. But for most things, I find that I can just click on a corner, and if I'm holding Command, it lets me warp it however I want to. I'm going to try and get this into perspective in here.
Command T. Yeah, distort. Yeah, that was working. That's pretty cool. Basically, like I guess it would be free transform.
Yeah.
But free transform constrains it. So you actually want to, you're doing free transform, and then you hold down the Command key, and that will make it distort. I didn't know that. Does that make sense?
I mean, I'm just hitting Command T. I don't know if I'm doing free transform
Command
or what.
T is free transform, which means you can scale the size but you can't move the individual points. So that's why you hold on the Command key, and you can grab that point and pull it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Break the. That's good. What's up, Munir? Good to have you here. Welcome. About 10 minutes, and we will review those designs. Just time check, everyone.
Cool. So I want to put this on screen. I think is how I did it.
It's interesting that you, okay, screen, kind of toggling through the different blend
experimenting a
modes.
little bit. I found that this works better when I did a use that layer, colorized, and made it kind of the blue that I need. Let's look at it alone.
Yeah, it's interesting that you don't, like, a lot of people always have, actually you're probably not working on a laptop at work.
Mm-mm.
You have a big screen.
Mm-hmm. Two big screens.
Do you have all your panels open on the side or something like that? You always have your layers panel open. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, on a different monitor. Not totally thrilled with the way that's looking yet, but that's pretty close.
Like, you really just want to take the highlights out of that
Uh-huh.
and not all the darks. So is that a blend mode? I mean, is it going to be
So
screen?
Screen, yeah.
Or is it going to be, let me take a look. I mean, screen would do it.
Screen removes the blacks.
It still looks a little dark.
I right now it's on color dodge, so I'm gonna paint it in and then sort of see how I feel about it first.
Cool.
So I just put a black layer mask over that group now.
And yes, to answer your question, Valder, I will be reviewing the designs, myself and Brad. The designs submitted this afternoon that Val didn't go over. It looks like we have quite a few. So from 12 on, roughly. So I do see yours in there, Valder, by the way.
So that's looking pretty good. Kind of gives us this sense of like, you know.
Yep. I mean, I think that looks. Thoughts? Any ideas? How we liking it? How we liking it, Rockio and Valder and Jennifer Moonier? Thanks for joining us.
Sorry guys, I've been nerding
Elizabeth?
out in Photoshop and not talking to anybody for a while.
You've been doing work, and we've just all been just kind of sitting here with our mouths open, like.
My buddy
Like,
Clay
wow.
just said I'm a perfectionist, so I'd lose. What were we talking about?
Oh, in terms of speed.
The speed.
You would lose.
I would.
Okay, here's my 2 cents. I feel like the street should be bright, like the whole thing should it be a little brighter? Maybe not. I'm trying to figure out where the light's coming from and all that stuff. It's probably fine, actually.
Right. I think
Jordan says it looks amazing. Susanna, it's extraordinary. Hello, Susanna.
maybe it was.
It looks pretty good. I mean, we definitely have to get to working on his face, for sure.
No doubt.
There we go. Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's cool. Christian agrees on maybe the street being brighter or whatever. But I was just thinking, like, if the light's coming in, is it hitting the street more than it hits the buildings? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I.
But even your adjustment here is, kind of helping. So that's good.
We'll get there. I think. I hope. So now I've kind of.
Hello, Anna. Anna Brackett. She says your composite's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of something interesting. Rod bring up a good question. If there's like distortion from the water in the city, but that's still something I would jump out there and say, like, underwater. I don't know if there'd be a lot of distortion, to be honest with you.
It wouldn't be like looking through the top of the water, but it would be hazy and so on. Maybe we'll add some of that later, but
good. Thank you. That's a good point. So if we were looking at it from the top, like looking into the water, the ripples are what cause the distortion. But here it's like you're slicing the water in half, so you're not going to get any.
Exactly.
You are good. Kevin Schneider in the house. What's up, Kevin?
All right, I think.
That's looking good, man.
I'm getting there. Yeah, isn't this? Oh, I see what happened. Okay. So the normal thing, I just painted some stuff, like literally with a paintbrush because my layer here, when I warped it, got cut off. So I painted in the corner of that, but that isn't contained by the normal mode that I put the layer on. So now that the layer extends out here, my adjustment layer is affecting that. So sort of an important step here is to mask this whole thing, the whole water half of my comp here out. So I'm gonna group these, call it overall water, which is kind of redundant, but.
No, I get it.
And then I'm gonna base my layer mask here on this because I don't want it to extend out of this or either direction of it. So I'm gonna make a selection of this mask and then move it a few pixels to the left. And then I'm gonna make a layer mask here.
And then select.
And then make the rest of this white. I'm just expanding my selection a little bit.
There's a shortcut key then.
That's an action.
Or an action. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so good. I don't know why I didn't
Select.
think of making actions instead of like, I was like, oh, if I can't assign a shortcut key to it, I can't do it. No, you just make it an action.
So select modify, expand is or contract. Some of these things I don't even know where they are anymore because I've been doing actions for so long. Anyway, so now we're back to a good spot. It's time to affect the dude.
Hey, Helmet. Good to have you here. Let's do this dude. He's going to try to kiss a shark, and he's going to get his...
So the first thing that happens under...
Actually a fish, but...
It's well, we can make it whatever we want. You guys can tell me what you want me to put in there. So I'm going to go to my reds, and when you're underwater, I learned this from scuba diving. The red is the first thing to go. So I'm taking the red out of the image. It gets a little bit too green.
Really? Uh-oh, that's funny.
Close.
Ooh, that's a good call. Thank you, Elizabeth O'Brien, mentioning that maybe the guy needs some bubbles or something. I like those little, the thought of those little details. It's a good idea. Oh, and now, there's so many things you could do. So yeah, like kind of like, do you add a highlight there?
I don't like the way that's looking though, so I'm gonna do it with a new layer.
So what is he kissing, everybody? Let us know. Pufferfish?
I had this guy already masked out. I was thinking of using him.
Yeah.
But we can put some other fish in there.
I still like that one. You could go with that one if you want to. Totally. We got like 3 minutes before we review designs. A catfish, but it's actually like the head of a cat.
That would take this to a whole new level.
A mermaid. Oh, that'd be awesome. I love it, Izzy. There's so, like, you have this whole other world that could be in here, which is just fascinating. Like, I like the idea of a fish with a suitcase and he's just leaving his apartment in the background. Or Aquaman. I don't know.
Let's give him a shadow. So I just made a selection of him.
You'd have to be 2 scale. Get it? Scale.
2 scale.
No, I mean, just to make sure he fits in there. And scales.
I was reacting to that because my buddy Wiley has a series of videos called To Scale that are awesome. And you should check them out.
To scale.
About the solar system and other things.
Oh, that's kind of fascinating.
I recommend them highly.
A permaid, half cat, half fish, maybe. Permaid? Or half... I don't know what that would be. A merman. Oh, Creature from the Black Lagoon. That'd be awesome.
Was that a movie? Black Lagoon?
Wait. I don't know.
No, I mean, just because I don't know it, I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, the Black Lagoon. Yeah, that's... You will recognize this little guy. There it is. Let's switch to my screen real fast, just for... Or not. To make sure Jay Phillips is on his game over there. Yeah. So anyways, there he is. Perfect. Okay, you switch back. That's all. I'm just here for comic relief.
It's a good thing, because I can't imagine this would be very interesting without you.
No, the thing is everybody's gonna have to watch this recording for sure. Like, again, the last thing I want you to do is slow down. So I really appreciate your speed, and I appreciate everybody submitting all these amazing designs for the design challenge. Just so you know, that's in the challenge tab. You can click on that. And today the challenge is just to style your social media profile photo with blending modes and selection tools.
I like it.
And I like what you're gonna be doing in a couple, like maybe on Thursday, kind of doing the color swatch, like color splashes over like photos.
Really...
Like some of the stuff you showed me, I was like, dude, that is awesome. It'd be perfect for like profile photos.
All right, I'm gonna just keep throwing some adjustment layers on here to try and make this look a little bit more.
And what we could always do is I can kind of review these designs and distract you, and you can kind of tweak that, because I think you're in a tweaking phase. Is that right?
I'm in a tweaking phase. I mean, I guess it might be fun for people to watch me bringing fish in here, maybe, but.
Yeah, do what you want to do. How's that looking, everybody? Does everybody like it? How's the face looking? Pretty good? Is that kind of like what you're... Is there anything that we're missing? I mean, other than just, I guess, kind of tweaking it and all that stuff.
There's...
Because I feel like he is kind of flat, which is why you're adding that rim light, right?
Yeah.
But now it looks good.
It's getting there. He could use a little more light, and if I had more time, maybe I would take some of this stuff, the like water ripple texture, and put it on his head, kind of something,
fancy.
or his shoulders.
Nice.
Hey,
we got approval from Sasha. Yay! Hi, Sasha. She says looking good. She's too sweet.
Sasha's approval.
Stop it. She's too nice. But she would tell you if something looked bad. You know, I feel like you get.
You think she would live though? You think she'd just humiliate me?
Oh, just lie and be
just
like, "This is horrible."
No, live. Do you think she would do that while we're on air? Like,
give it to you straight.
I feel like if she was going to give me the opinion that she hated what I was doing, she'd wait till it was.
Oh yeah, she's a class act.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we're going for. We get it. You're also really talented and a class act. So thanks for that. But she would tell you honestly. Yeah. But maybe not this way. Either way, we're getting down to the 0, 0, 0. See all those zeros over there. And by the way, this is what I'm talking about. Don't worry, we're going to do this tomorrow as well, but this is the challenge tab, and it's going to be all about stylizing your social media profile photo using blend modes and selection tools. So you can continue to tweak that and do what you need to do.
All right. Yeah, the tweaking sometimes is the hardest part of the process.
Yeah, trust me. And you kind of just need to, it's one of those cases where you do just need to like, almost like not think, just like focus.
Yeah.
And sometimes step away, right? I'm sure that's super helpful. Like, I don't know what's wrong with this. I'm going to leave, come back, and then it's super obvious. Or somebody comes by and says, what about...
Oh, man.
And you just feel like an idiot. You're like, I swear I know what I'm doing.
It's amazing how often I look back at stuff that I did an hour or a day ago and just like...
What?
The image treatment is just it looks nothing like I thought it did.
I think it's this fact that as you work, you lean more into it and you just get too much into the details and who knows what. But while you tweak that, I think that's looking really good. Love the thought of the bubbles. You could throw some fish in there.
What was her name, Elizabeth or something?
Yeah, I think it was Elizabeth who said that. Oh, I forgot her last name. But
well, thanks, Elizabeth.
Yes,
that's you.
This is why I love tapping into the brain trust of Adobe Live, everybody here. But we'll go ahead and switch to my screen. We'll get into this design challenge. And thank you so much. I'm just clicking through design feedback, by the way, and we'll take a look at these profile photos and really using, the one that Val supplied or your own. But here's the original, and then here's one. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is do something like this. Color treatment.
Let me see the original again.
There. Which, this is a tough selection through here.
Oh, yeah.
That's like super hard. In fact, I could probably click on this. You can see That's look at it with that blurriness. Yeah.
Yep.
But good job.
Yeah, that's well done.
Very cool. Let me go ahead and give you 100. Give you a Paul Tranny face, so you know I've reviewed it. Oh, here's another one. DC Gal. Is DC Gal here with us? It's cool.
That's cool.
I would even
Nice
brighten
colors.
it up some more, but I like it. I'm really into it.
Mm-hmm. Especially maybe the reflections on the eyes or something, bring it to life a little bit more.
Okay, some reflections and
Just kind of brighten the eyes a little bit, I guess. in
brighten up
general,
the,
but
and
the
I
sort
think
of-
that's a pretty common thing to do with like any sort of portrait
Mhm.
picture is, you know, make the eyes pop, if you will. Boom. Great job, DC girl. All right, ooh, we get a little more interesting. David Markson. It's his daughter with,
Whoa.
is this what she's like when she gets mad? It's like her hair's on fire. So this is what I think. Anytime you colorize an image, it hides like a multitude of sins because you don't have to worry about matching color, which is totally good because that's exactly what we're doing. The whole goal was to colorize an image. So that's why, yeah, totally works. I just add a little more up here, but good job.
Those holes in
yeah.
the fire look a little
Okay.
little stark. I would add some like glow or something in there. 'Cause it
Okay.
looks-
Those are kind of
those
jumping out
those
at you.
Shapes pop out at me.
Okay. Got it.
That whole area should be bright.
Into it. We have Kate. Okay, cool. That's beautiful.
Whoa. Is that
It's almost like there's
HDR or something on there?
Yeah, I wonder. This looks like a painting, or they painted on a photo.
So you can get a lot of that effect with HDR toning.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm actually probably going to do at the end of this.
Very
but
cool.
that image looks like it
Ooh,
took some time.
that's a great idea. Like your overall adjustments that you might make to an image. Good call. Oh, this is fun. Mohammed's still warming up, but here's some, you know what? Let's just put some flowers on these stormtroopers.
Love it. We're
Doesn't
going
look-
to San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. This looks really good down here. You're going to show us how to do some of this, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Or tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah,
we'll see.
exactly. Maybe not today, but yes. Into it. I don't know if he's too happy about having having that bouquet in his mouth.
It doesn't look like it tastes very good.
Very nice. This is Laura F's. This is fun, duplicating the image, repeating it a couple times. This overall, yeah, works pretty well. Good use of color. You kind of have her looking at the type. I think what really, actually I didn't even read apparel, to be honest with you. I thought it was kind of like a scribble like this background. I didn't really notice it. But it's good. Anytime you have two things, and I know you probably deal with this all the time, like you have the title of the show, and is it fighting with the image of the show? And
Right.
how can you balance that out to where you have a primary and a secondary read? This, I think, is still successful in terms of reads.
One little thing, so like subtle things sometimes, like the way that purple goes over the shoulder there, it's like not substantial enough to feel intentional, but it's still there. It almost feels like a mistake. So, and like I like things to feel as intentional as possible, or not there.
Yeah.
In that case, I would remove the purple from her, or make it
from the
more
shoulder.
obvious and kind of have some of that brush going on to her.
Yeah.
But I like that.
That's
It's
a
colorful,
good
it's nice.
call. Does it look intentional, or does it just kind of look like, who knows? AG 2019, throwing a little color splash here. It's also very cool. It works. Good job. Kluhamed. That's fun. I love this halftone around the image. Let's go down a little bit more. That might be it for now. So there's some others related to other challenges. So Val talked about symmetry. I think it was on Friday. So this is using the symmetry tool and an animated GIF. Did you know that there's a symmetry? You can paint.
I feel like I've seen people using that on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've never tried to use it myself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially since you have that Wacom. And just being an illustrator, dude, you can make some cool stuff. Totally.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
It's so much fun. So we'll have to check that out later. But yeah, feel free to drop in your images. We're just going to be adding some design feedback right in here. Boom, just like that. And this was probably around the banner. But good job. I think blend modes are just a lot of fun to work with, right? Because it's like you can get some really instant, like awesome results out of it.
Yeah, especially, often I'm playing with a blend mode and I get something that I really like, but it kind of destroys the image too much. In my industry, you need to be able to see the actor's face or whatever it may be. It's so it can be distracting, but sometimes I'll like take a screen grab and save something for later and maybe come back to it.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
So I kind of cheated a little bit while we were doing that. I think you guys probably saw when I was surfing through my files quickly earlier that I had pre-built this thing, just so you guys didn't have to watch me noodle too much.
Like if you did, show us what you got, man.
Yeah. So what we're looking at right now is exactly where it was when we switched over, and it's interesting seeing how it changes when I'm a little bit rushed. But this is kind of minus that. There we go. So this is what I had built before coming on the stream, and I still like, if we have some more time, maybe I'll add a few more fish or something. But this is kind of the untreated, like basic image in a way that I'm happy with it, and I think it's pretty much everything that we did. I just like the curves are a little bit different, and some levels are it's just to me a little bit more finessed.
Okay.
But.
Still, yours is pretty good, man.
They're pretty similar, yeah. Anyway, so what's left is adding more fish if we want to. We can do that at the end if there's a couple minutes, and some overall treatment layers, and then some type. So to show you kind of all at once, these like treatment layers that I had added. Oh
wow!
They do that, which just kind of punches it up a little bit.
It definitely kind of like normalized it, kind of evened out the tones.
It might be a little bit too strong in here. I'm not getting any like real good highlights, but for a quick thing, I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah.
The differences of light on them.
Look at that.
If I had a day to really polish this thing, then it could change a bit. But anyway, so what I did here was an overall slight desaturation layer. Darken the ground a little bit more. Just some color lookup is, I don't even know if I need this on there right now, but there's some cool things to do with color lookup.
Love it.
You got to experiment with that, but it's kind of like, I think that they're like effectively layered sequences of filters and things. Yeah, that are sort of contained into one.
Exactly.
So if you go, to whatever, edgy amber.
Yeah.
That's just one layer that does that whole thing.
I like there's a couple that I like in here, like the teal. There's a teal with orange, which is nice.
Is that the...
near the bottom, teal, orange plus contrast. Is
that's
just
nice.
Kind of just an interesting look in general, huh?
Yeah.
But it's just like fun to play with.
Put that on like 30% or something.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, you can change the opacity of your layers just by hitting the numbers, nothing else. So I hit 1, it goes to 10% opacity. 5 goes to 50% opacity. I actually kind of like that, so I'm gonna keep that for now. Maybe I'll put it at 30. Okay, the next one was, so I have a shortcut like we talked about for this duplicate document thing. So I'm gonna hit that. Okay, and then. Image adjustments, HDR toning. This is like a whole world into itself.
Oh yeah.
That you can do a ton of stuff with in terms of bringing out detail and highlights and shadows and. But in the interest of time for now.
I never noticed the curves An histogram here.
It's kind of hidden usually. I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's usually tucked. Oh, fascinating. All right, cool.
So
I really wish this worked non-destructively. I wish it did it on a layer.
I know, and it also doesn't have a like recent. Like I can't do the last setting that I did. So if I don't remember to save whatever I do, then it doesn't work. But I'll show you guys a little bit more. I think this would be
like hugely beneficial in the entertainment field, because I feel like there's always a little bit of HDR kind of pop, because you gotta make sure you can recognize the actor and all that stuff. So I think this brings up a lot of the details if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, you can like crank this details thing. Oh, my mouse is going crazy. Can you guys see that? Yeah.
Let's see that again.
Now we're back. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like obviously I don't like the way that looks, but this has a whole bunch of effects you can kind of do. But
do you do any of the drop down presets in there? Any that you prefer, or you just kind of play with it on your own?
I just play with it on my own.
Some of them are so extreme.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'm gonna use this more tomorrow and the next day, so you'll see me pull this up a couple times. But for now, I'll just do what I had done before, which is Fish 2, and save that, commit that, and then
look at how you like totally I feel like you evened out all those tones. Like it's like pretty with all the different color modes you did and everything. Like you make it more cohesive piece.
Yeah. Sometimes the last step is what really ties it all together, I'm not loving the differences here, but whatever. It's pretty good for now.
That you just can't unsee now.
Yeah. And then I did some rough kind of ordinary type, but just to make it look a little bit more like a poster kinda.
Into it.
Again, if I had more time, I'd experiment with different type treatments and doing cool stuff, but that's where we're at right now. How much time we got?
We have about five-ish minutes.
And I should probably add this tie real quick, huh?
Ooh, look at you. Oh, yeah.
Let's add a tie. Even though, yeah.
I like it. Yeah, Derek, thank you. Derek likes the close-up. Yeah, I mean, you really start to notice the details. Of course, you're working. It's probably might be hard to see on the stream.
Yeah, I don't know what they can see, but...
But again, little touches, just to sell it as being an underwater scene. Like somebody mentioned earlier, adding bubbles, adding something flowy.
I already have these guys masked, so let's try and put those in there.
Let's drop those in there. Oh yeah.
So this is kind of cheating. Normally I should have done this before. It's being hidden by that HDR layer that I did.
Yeah.
So normally we would put this in lower and redo the HDR layer. I'll do that overnight tonight maybe and show you guys the finished product. But
yeah, it's kind of fun to play with all that water in there now that you have most of that squared away.
I'm just kind of
man.
Distance back now, but they are
shot
from a low angle, so they should probably go up
I think
here.
that adds a lot to it. Braxton loves it. Reverb Mike, the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Is that a show? If not, it should be.
Should be.
Right?
Yeah, so maybe you guys can give me some better titles and a better copy line for this. I was just typing random stuff.
I could honestly tell that you're and I'm not a copywriter either. Yeah. But
sometimes when I have time, I like to. But
tagline, something's gonna go here.
Usually, I just do copy.
We needed like a line for this fish show.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, somebody, come on.
Let's think about this.
I really wanted to put this octopus in, but he was taking me too long to mask, so I gave up on him. Maybe tonight.
Yeah, all those arms. I'm trying to think of a good I'm not a copywriter, but
no,
I
certainly not.
I like puns.
Certainly
so we're looking for fish
puns.
What sort of fun fish pun Dry fish don't kiss. There we go, Kevin. So far, that's our winner.
That's our winner. I'll put it in there for now.
Dry fish don't kiss. Good cadence to that. Dry fish don't kiss.
Thanks, Kevin.
Fish lips hooked. Oh yeah, get hooked. I don't know.
Oh, I like that as like
That's
a lead
good
into
word.
the tune-in. So we go down here and do like get hooked.
Oh
Nice.
yeah. Nice. I love it. Fishy business.
So now we turn this into the client, and they spend the next 3 months destroying it.
You talk as if you know from experience. That's
Just a little.
Maybe that's happened before. Every single time. No, just joking. For the next 3 months, they will debate the sans serif font you used in the title.
Yeah, well, they should. I like this because it
Everybody
was
needs to add their 2 cents.
playful, kind of, because it's rounded, but still
Yep.
sort of serious. Kind of feels a little bit like it. But yeah, the title is boring, so
But yeah, no, they're not wrong. Actually, you know what I would do with the title?
tell me.
I would do a little highlight, so a little bit lighter here, and then fade out to the little bit of the blue.
Let's see.
Just a subtle, like it's catching a little bit of that light.
Oh, you know, it's funny. I already had a little bit on there.
Look at you.
I forgot.
Here, we got this. Oh, Tim, slow clap for you. Those puns are very sophisticated.
Got a copywriter in our midst. Or he's got a future.
Savage. Into it. Go make this larger so we can all see it, everybody
good
see it like
idea.
a little better. In all of its glory.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
Now I've
tight,
kind of
man.
mucked it up a little bit since we sort of finished it. These guys don't look like they're in there yet, but you know.
I'm sure you've learned so much, like in terms of like what you can get away with. Like, I mean, I'm sure all clients are different. You know, some people just, you feel like they just told you something just because they feel like they need to give their feedback.
It
Sometimes
does
I
feel
feel like
that way. Like they
Like-
want to feel some ownership over it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
they want to feel some ownership, so hey, do this.
Yeah.
But you also know, I think with type, I think that's a strong typeface. You probably know kind of what works and what doesn't in the industry. You kind of know where everything's at. Right.
It's rarely an exercise of like, you know, designing a logo in the way that it would be for a brand or something. Like movies and TV usually want it, you know, legible first and foremost.
Yeah.
Big, bold.
Big, bold.
You know.
We spent a lot on this actor. Let's make sure we get their face in there.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I saw a book one time that was all about entertainment design, and it had things on like gig posters and album art and whatever else you can think of, museum advertising or something. And then there was a section on movie posters, and it said there's very little good design in the movie poster industry.
Really?
It said it all focuses on big heads and actors and big titles, and there's not much room for
Super.
quality.
Yeah.
So, you know, you spend some time trying to push back against that and do stuff that's fun anyways.
Yeah. It is pretty fascinating. So yeah, man, this was awesome, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I mean, look at this. Can we just all take this in, Lindsay? You see what Brad made? Isn't this amazing?
My buddy,
I think this is like way cool, man.
thanks, dude.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
you need to post that to Instagram.
Maybe I will. I can't usually post my work to Instagram, but now I
That's
can.
why. That's why you don't have like an well, you do, but that's why you like
personal-
when most
yeah.
of the stuff you make you can't really share because
Right, until it's much later. And so it looks like my buddy Clay was answering a question from Ray. But yeah, for everyone else, this thing here is a contractual thing that it's called a billing block, and it doesn't really have to be legible. It just kind of like is required to be there when you make a movie poster. TV doesn't have it, so if this were like an HBO show or something, this wouldn't be here. There would be a tune-in.
Okay.
But
tune-in
for a movie
and-
poster, they've got this, and it's not really important that it doesn't read. It's like usually you want to make it as kind of subtle but still there as possible. You know?
Yeah.
And there's rules about how big it has to be. I think it has to be like 20% the average cap height of the
Okay.
title. So you'll virtually never see movie posters with logos that do
big.
that, because if you do, then your billing block would have to be, that big.
Huh.
Whatever. So there's some restrictions there.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Well, very cool, man. That kind of pretty much wraps it up for us today. Yeah, that's about it. We're kind of out of time. Like, super cool. I guess just encourage everybody to click the info tab, by the way, and just to give you a follow on Behance.
Yeah.
Check out your work. Maybe this will end up on Behance, but definitely like this was a stream worth watching again for sure, because you covered a lot of things that I just don't normally do, and that's like super impressive. So
I'll try to get this. I might upload this to my website, same place as that script thing I gave you guys, and
okay.
show you a polished version tomorrow. But
Yeah, thank you so much. Brad Basham, everybody give him a warm thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We have you for another 2 days as well, which is awesome. And we have a little UX and UI tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So hang out with us, see where this ends up, and more things to come. Super fun. So thanks so much, everybody. See you soon.
thanks, guys.